Welcome back to the Lockwood Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we are going over my winter TBR. As a mood reader, I am also a seasonal mood reader, meaning I really want to read books, not all the time, but if I look at a book and I think that it looks like a certain season that would be good to read it in, I will most likely read it in that season. Do I always forget about my seasonal TBR list? Yes, I do. Probably won't be any different this time, but I do have a list of books that I feel like I will get to this winter, hopefully. Maybe not, but I'm hopeful to. I have no idea how many books are actually on this. I have books that I already own on my physical TBR, as well as books that I want to read that are available on Kindle Unlimited, as well as some new releases that are coming out in the winter time, primarily into 2025. I think these are just in January and February. There will be plenty of other books that will jump on to the books that I read in the winter, so this is very loose, but this is, if I was to buy no more books, this will be the books that I would read in the winter months. And because I live in Minnesota, winter extends from like after Thanksgiving until mid-March, and sometimes into April. Let's go over the books that I physically own. A lot of these are backlisted. There are a few like newer releases too. I really won't go into too much depth with any of them. The first books, because it's a trilogy, this is going to be the year. I'm going to read Ledge by Stacey McEwen. There is Chasm and I forgot what the third book is. But I will read this trilogy this year. Hopefully the trilogy. I will for sure read this one, and if I like it, I will continue on with the other two. Hopefully I will, because I already own Chasm. Oh, it's the Glacian trilogy. Obviously, looking at this cover, very winter vibes. I didn't get around to it last winter. The only reason I didn't is because I knew the third book was coming out, and I just put it off so then I could read them when I wanted to and didn't have to wait a whole year. Then heading into more of science fiction, we have Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Apparently there's a robot, a guy wakes up in space, and there's a robot and he's the only one left, and he's trying to figure out why, because he has no memory or something. Not to be confused with The Martian by Andy Weir. There's a Martian that does things. I have no idea. And I don't want to know, because I want to go into this as blind as possible. I hear fantastic things, primarily about Project Hail Mary, but when The Martian first came out, I also heard a lot of great things about this as well. It's time. Really excited to get to these. I don't know, science fiction and fantasy really hit my vibe during the winter months, and romance is all year round for me, but specifically science fiction and fantasy. The Ministry of Time by Callianne Bradley? Bradley? A boy meets a girl, the past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. I've heard phenomenal things about this. There's a war happening. This girl is assigned a time, and then the guy that's in that time, it's like a time travel-y thing. Sure. So going from science fiction into more Greek mythology, but this is a historical fiction mythology based, and that's the lovely War. In the perilous days of the world, Wars 1 and 2, the gods held the fates and the hearts of 4 mortals in their hands. And that would be Hazel, James, Aubrey, and Colette. And apparently this is regarding Aphrodite is a main thing, and this obviously takes place in World War 1 and 2 and the gods. And Destiny Sidwell rated this a 5, and Sarah Crowley rated it a 4.5 or something in that range. I love Greek mythology, and I love reading about World War II historical fiction, putting both Greek mythology and historical fiction, that time period. I'm already anticipating this will be a very highly rated book for me. Plus this cover is stunning. She's a little bit chunky. And then continuing on with some Greek mythology, I think Piranesi would be a good one to read. I've heard to go into this completely blind, because you never know what's happening until the end. And it's a little bit of a shorter book. I've heard it's beautiful, it's very well done, and I can't wait to read it. So this is by Susanna Clark. What I do know is Piranesi is in this museum thing alone. And then we'll get into more of that romance element. As for my holiday read this year, I don't read too many holiday themed books, but I do like to sneak in a couple. The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore is one I will be reading. Look at that, so cute. And there's a little dog. There's a little dog right there. How adorable. I'm so excited. This is just vibes. Cozy, cutie vibes. If you like Gilmore Girls, the weird little town and everybody's business, but they're so quirky, you just can't help but love them. That's these books for, yeah. Laura Gilmore is a really good author for that. The magic starts here. In my heart there's a Christmas tree farm. And then we have a few of my backlist that I have had on my backlist for a really long time, and there are 3 different authors, well, I guess technically 4 authors. They're the last books that I have to read from these authors that I own and that I've been putting off, and I would like to get to them so I can head into specifically 2025 and have read their books. First of all is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Elsie meets Ben. They have a whirlwind romance. Something happens to Ben and he passes away. Then she meets her mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law is grieving, and Elsie and her, it's something about like a mother-daughter grief. I don't know. Taylor Jenkins Reid is just a phenomenal writer. I don't know how she does it. I'm so excited for her next new release was just announced, and I'm so pumped. I don't know what she puts in there, and I always regret not reading her book sooner, but they always pack a little bit of a punch for me, and and I would really like to finish off 2024 with finishing off her backlist. Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. And this is the last that I have that I own on my shelf of their backlist. I know they do have other books that I have not read, but I believe they're available on Kindle Unlimited, and I'll probably go forth with that route. Unless I absolutely love one, then I'll get the trophy. Carter and Evie. They both work in Hollywood and are either rivals or competing for the same. I don't really know. I like to go into books so blindly. Legit have no idea what this is about, and I prefer it that way, and that is Confessed by Colleen Hoover. So I bought this back when she was really popping off, and yes, her books are questionable in their content, but they are quick reads and entertaining. Colleen Hoover's writing, it can be a little dark and twisted sometimes. This is the last book of the Colleen Hoover on my backlist. I've had it for a very long time. Oh, I am getting the overheated signal of my camera, so we'll try and speed this along. Isn't this turning? Excuse me. Okay, well, I guess we'll do it this way. Not much on Kindle Unlimited. I would like to read The Assistant to the Villain, both 1 and 2. By Hannah Nicole Mayer. Heard great things about it and continue to hear great things about it. I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I would love to. 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. This is another holiday read. It was just on my Kindle Unlimited book list that I had last year, and I never got around to it. See if I'm in the mood to read it. I'm not super concerned with them because I already have one holiday read, but in case I'm feeling another one, we can slide that one in there unless something else pops up. Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, a hockey romance. I have heard phenomenal things about this. I've heard it's compared to Icebreaker with like Binding and Keeping 13 vibes. Why would I not want to read that? Those are 2 of my favorite series. Nocticadia, just for a little bit of a dark academia or gothic romantasy or whatever it is, by Carrie Lake. This has been popping off. I want to read it. There is a sports romance, and I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to have to text one of my friends, and she's the one that told me about it, and I can't remember it. It's a series, and both love interests play sports. Like there's a volleyball and hockey or football or something, but she absolutely loves them and they sound right up my alley. As for new releases that are coming out in January, on my birthday actually, Onyx Storm, which is the 3rd book in the, what is the series actually called? Well, like Fourth Wing, Iron Flame. Why am I blanking on the actual series name? I can never remember it. But Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros is released on my birthday in January. And I'm so excited. I've had this pre-ordered since she's announced it. And then Deep End by Allie Hazelwood, also alternate title called Wet, is released in February. And I've pre-ordered that one. Really pumped about her books. They're just so fun. Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver is also released in February. And that is part of the Ruinous Love trilogy. So Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark. So this is the 3rd, and I think, yeah, it's a trilogy, so obviously 3rd and final book of the Ruinous Love trilogy, and this is following the youngest brother and his friend, which she is a Spitfire. She's like a ex-carny or still like works in the carnival or something. She's kind of a badass. That's going to conclude my winter TBR. How many books is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 books, oh dear, on my winter TBR. Turns out I will not get to all of these, but hopefully I'll get to most of them. And again, I always forget about this with my monthly TBRs, but you will probably be seeing, hopefully you will be seeing a lot of them go on to my monthly TBRs this winter. Are there any books that you love to read in the winter? Any books on your winter radar TBR? I would love to know. Put them in the comments below. That would be great. Feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future reading vlogs or wrap-ups of said books, hopefully, fingers crossed. All of the book content as well. And feel free to like the video. That'd be... just my nub thumbs. Feel free to like the video. And with that being said, respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks, bye!